Tell me inside life, oh. See mommy songs out there, yet I'm not into life. Tell me where the joy go there. If my work no bring no money, where my fame go there. If the songs no reach nobody, where the joy go there. If the work no bring no money, where my fame go there. If the songs no reach nobody, yeah. Them figures say them try criticize, yeah. And then later them they want emphasize, yeah. All my music where they was, them a drama DJ. And them figures say them try criticize, yeah. And then later them they want emphasize, yeah. All my music where they was, them a drama. See God I no get nothing and I don't know what to say. I just dey suffer, beg and show me the way. And if you make a blow, I never go remain this way. The way the enemy go see them start dey laughing. Hey, oh, hallelujah, hey, mama, no, Jehovah. You give me life, and the blessings just they follow. Oh, hallelujah, eh, mama, no, Jehovah, eh. Amidu, and yeah, just the double. DJ, come on, where my fame go there. Big up everyone watching us live, you see me? It's all loud out here. Yes, sir. Listen this. Yeah, listen that. Songs no reach nobody. Fame go there. If the work no reach nobody. Where the joy go there. If the work no bring no money. Where my fame go there. If the songs no reach nobody. Now one team is go show me, oh. Now this team on me I follow. My success to where they deal you. In this life, mommy, I'm on you. Now one team is go show me, oh. Now this team on me I follow. My success to where they deal you. In this life, where the joy go there. If my work no bring no money, where my fame go there. If the songs no reach nobody, where the joy go there. If the work no bring no money, where my fame go there. If the songs no reach nobody, yeah. Where the joy go there. If nobody they stream my songs. If nobody they stream my songs. Where the joy go there. You see Citi.
Wow.
Shuku the painter.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Super impressive.
I appreciate it.
Super
Amazing.
impressive.
I appreciate it.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Dziffa Amatam. Thank you guys so much for spending your Tuesday morning with us. We'll be with Shuku all morning long, so he's going to be telling us how he pulled this off. But it is an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, you know what to do. Use the hashtag and that number. Now, every morning we start the show off with a quote of the day, but today we have some road safety tips.
Yes, we do. Let's take a look at our road safety tip this morning. So, a road safety tip for today is accidents don't happen, they are caused. Accidents don't happen, they are caused. This quote is very, very important for all of us to bear in mind because accidents truly, we just imagine that accidents just happen, and it's like we don't have any control over them. But the truth of the matter is that accidents don't just happen. They are actually caused by either our negligence or our, bad behavior. It's all kinds of things. So, Dziffa, I know that, somebody says, okay, look, my brake failed. Brakes fail based on a number of things, right? Brakes just don't fail out of the blue, So I actually do. I like this quote a lot. Accidents don't just happen. They are caused. It's decisions that people have taken over time. It may sound like something like that just out of the blue. I had no hand in it, and there's nothing I could have done. You see, but the truth of the matter is that if you don't service your vehicle regularly, if you don't check your vehicle regularly, if you don't, because they have diagnostic machines, you can put on the machine. Sometimes you hear noises in the brakes, you feel something, you feel uncomfortable, and the brake doesn't feel quite right. What did you do about it? You've done nothing. So when the accident happens, you're saying, oh, I don't know what happened, all of a sudden the brake failed. No, that never happens like that.
Yeah, and I think it starts when we realize that we have a responsibility in the outcomes that will eventually happen. So if you fail to check certain things, when it happens, you can't now say, I had no idea. It's all part of the preventive measures. You want to ensure that at least I'm not going to do it. And I think it's important now more than ever because we have Christmas in a few weeks. People are going to go out. They're going to get drunk. They're going to say, well, I just had one glass of wine and I'm usually able to get home on just one glass, but how about if you did not have that alcohol at all? Someone's life would have been saved. Someone who had to go somewhere would have been fine. Just yesterday, we heard news of two people actually dying because the driver wanted to overtake someone and he didn't know that there was a car coming. Now you can say, and I'm not even trying to blame him because he's deceased, you can say that I was just overtaken, the other driver could have stopped. You don't have control over what other people do. You only have control over your own actions.
Absolutely.
So if you just pause for a few seconds and say, I don't want to injure myself, I don't want to be the one to bring about somebody's death. So let me just slow down, let me do what I'm supposed to do, and let me make sure that we all make it to 2021. We will all be fine.
The power is always in our hands. So let's take the right decision and make the right choices at every point in time. But yesterday, breaking news, 2020 doesn't seem to stop with the breaking news.
Well, I was not surprised at all by yesterday's news. I must say, I'm probably one of the very few people, or a lot of people, were not surprised because he's been frustrated for so long. Even his press release that he brought out about the former PPA boss, 4.5 pages of that 5-page letter was about how people within his team were frustrating him, and everyone just kept wondering, why are you still there? There's a quote that's, I'm forgetting who said it, but it says, if you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. So I like that he's finally put his foot down. But what I found troubling was the Ejapa royalties deal and him saying the whole process traumatized him.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who we're talking about the special prosecutor, okay, he resigned yesterday. Should we take a look at his appointment?
Yes, his appointment, exactly.
Okay.
Let's take a look at that.
Act 959 and the successful appointment of a special prosecutor are historic events in our modern history. The Ghanaian people have in overwhelming numbers denounced the canker of corruption. The Ghanaian people expect the office of the special prosecutor to rise to the challenge and to the occasion and collaborate with other existing law enforcement agencies to fight relentlessly and help eliminate corruption in our public life.
All right, so there you have it. You see what the president had intended by appointing him. Now, we all know that for many, many, many years, Martin Amidu had stood out as this person who really was 120% against corruption in all its forms, you know, and even he was reputed to have given his family a raw deal in life just basically because he wouldn't, you know, he wouldn't take bribes, he wouldn't cut corners, he just was that kind of a person, and he was known as a citizen vigilante. So he was appointed and everybody acclaimed it, and he was appointed. But he himself finally resigned because after many months of frustration, as he claims, being frustrated at every level, you know, being interfered with and all of that, he finally resigned. And Dziffa, I think he's done the right thing because honestly, like he said, I'm not your poodle, you know, and I think he couldn't have used clearer words to describe, you know, the position in which he felt he found himself, you know, you asked me to do a job. I'm supposed to be independent of every interference. But for the president to say, right, that show me the report first. Come and see me and show me the report first. That's not a sign of independence.
Well, it's also his interpretation of things, you know, so there's the event that happened and every single person's interpretation of it. And if we know anything about Martin Amidu, people say that he's quite difficult to work with. So it could be that the president just wanted to know what you found out, but the way you interpret it is also very different. So I think all these are his opinions, which he's entitled to. He has the right to resign. But other people who he referenced, like perhaps the president, also have the right to come out and say, this was my interpretation of what happened.
So for an independent office, should the president see the report first before the public
like Martin Amidu said, it was out of courtesy. So when you read some of the notice he put out on page 2, he says, I met Your Excellency in your office in the afternoon of 23rd October 2020. And I understood the fact that my letter dated 16th October 2020 to you was sent out of necessary courtesy of prior information to your office as President of the Republic and the Commander-in-Chief responsible for national security. I also underscored the fact that the analysis of the risk of corruption and anti-corruption assessments was conducted professionally. It could not be reviewed by the Minister of Finance or yourself, and my letter was particularly not intended for you to direct me as to how to conduct the duties of my office. Your Excellency insisted that I should withhold any further action on the report for 1 week. I reluctantly agreed to your terms, but gave you notice immediately that I did not intend to continue as the special prosecutor because of your interference in the performance of my functions under the law. These are all his own opinions of how things transpired. It could have just been, give us a week to figure out whatever additional details we may need. We don't know.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I think that, we need to, if we're serious about the fight against corruption, we need to insulate the office, okay, from all forms of interference, from executive to judiciary to legislature to everybody. Just insulate that office in its entirety from all forms of influence, okay? Because if you don't do that, then it's a lame duck situation where, yes, you do have a duck, but the duck does nothing. That's really what it is, okay? So, I mean, he's looked at many cases, okay? He's dealt with so many different issues, brought up Charles Bishop's issue, dealt with Freddie Blaze issue, all the different issues that came up. But this is the first one, this Dziffa deal. He's done a thorough, there were many arguments at the beginning that, he's not doing, he's just complaining, he's just making noise, he's not doing anything. And then he does this extensive report.
He could have gone ahead and do an investigation. Why did he just do an assessment? Did they force him to not do an investigation?
Okay, so if you look at it, we can look at the assessment as one thing, but the assessment is supposed to, this is what he's always done. He says, look, I'm working with other organizations. I'm not working alone, okay? I'm working with other organizations because now I have not been funded. Okay?
And it's not unique to his office. There are a lot of offices in this country. We're a developing country.
And this is, but Dziffa, that's not an excuse.
Yeah, but it's a valid point.
Because when we want the Electoral Commission to function, we finance the Electoral Commission. No matter what budget they bring, we finance them because we want it to work.
So we're saying we did not want the special prosecutor to work?
It leaves me too many questions. Why is he and his deputy, why have they not been paid since being appointed?
Why is he raising it now?
No,
2 years in.
I don't think he's...
now that you're resigning, is when you're saying, I was a crusader, I was not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He has every right to resign, but some of the allegations he raises are really, really dangerous, especially when it comes to fighting corruption. And you talk about our finance minister and the Dziffa royalties deal, which has to do with our gold. So it's a lot of things that he said in this. And I also think that they're his opinions. We need to wait. Resigning is one thing. Saying you were traumatized by the events surrounding this Dziffa royalties assessment, it's a very big thing to say.
It is.
So all parties involved, I believe, should also come to the nation and tell us, this is how we interpreted what happened. Because if it's true that an office that's supposed to be fighting corruption was not given the freedom to actually do what they were asked to do, then it's bad on all of us.
The first place that I see that he wasn't given freedom to do what he was supposed to do was that 180 million was promised for his office. How much was paid out? As far as we know, 3 million. That's it. That doesn't show seriousness. It doesn't show commitment. It's easy to talk the big talk, but if you're really going to do something, I think that at least 50, 60, 70 million should have been paid out. Then you know that, look, we've given a large tranche of money to his office. Now he really has no excuse. But you give him 3 million out of 180 million and you pay no salary, no emoluments, and you still expect him to function? I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, and I mean, he says in the second paragraph on the second page that it thus became abundantly clear to me that I cannot continue under your government as the special prosecutor because we disagree on the non-partisan independence of the special prosecutor in the performance of the functions of my office in preventing and fighting corruption and corruption-related offenses. This is a lot that he said in just this one sentence. And again, it is a very dangerous path to toe, especially when you are directing it towards the president of the land, someone that people have grown to know is against corruption, and establish this whole office to fight corruption. So again, I think this is Martin Amidu's interpretations of the events. All the other parties should also come and share their version of what happened.
Why not?
But it's now time for us to take a look at news making rounds across the various regions in the country with News Roundup.
Good morning and welcome to News Roundup on Citi TV. From the Ashanti region, I'm Edward Oponmafo. Coming up, 2 staff members of the Confanochi Teaching Hospital have secured an injunction to restrain the board of the hospital from asking them to reapply for positions they hold in the facility. The Deputy Director of Finance and the Head of Audit Department of the hospital are seeking a High Court in Kumasi to stop management from carrying out processes to get them to reapply for positions they currently occupy. The development comes after the Director of Finance of the hospital also obtained an injunction to stop the board from replacing him after he was asked to proceed on annual leave. Counsel for the plaintiff explained that he's in court to stop the board and management of the Confanochi Teaching Hospital from subjecting his clients to such processes. The counsel further stated that the Deputy Director of Finance, Emily Otinentry, and the head of the Audit Department of the hospital, Thomas Kwafo, in a substantive case, are seeking to be allowed to reach their compulsory retirement age without going through another process to reapply for the position. Meanwhile, the counsel for the Confanochi Teaching Hospital says they will study the ruling and take the next line of action. The substantive case for the Deputy Director of Finance and the Head of Audit Department has been slated for 22nd December 2020. Moving on, police in the Ashanti region have identified all 5 victims who died in an accident on the Obuasi-Dunkwa Road on Saturday night. A head-on collision between a Toyota Hilux pickup and a Sprinter bus that claimed 5 lives also left 17 persons injured. The injured persons are currently receiving treatment at Obuasi Government Hospital and Aglogo Ashanti Hospital, while others who are in critical condition have been sent to the Confanochi Teaching Hospital. Confirming the news, the Ashanti Regional Commander of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Emmanuel Dubois, says they have so far been able to verify the identity of all the victims. Also, ahead of the December polls, a group calling itself Asante Zongo Youth has urged Zongo communities in the Ashanti region to commit to peace. Youth in Zongo communities are largely considered as vulnerable to selfish politicians who in most cases use them to perpetrate violence. The group has thus embarked on campaigns in various Zongo communities in the Ashanti region to get the youth to ensure a violent-free election. Speaking at the news conference, the General Secretary of the Union, Mohammed Habib Ali Gali, stated that the mission of the Union is to work for the general welfare and advancement of the youth in Zongo communities in the region and beyond. They have thus called on persons living in Zongo communities to contribute to ensuring a violent-free electoral process. Finally, following the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, car rental companies in the Ashanti region say their businesses have been heavily affected as they are struggling to recover from the shocks. According to some managers who spoke to Citi News, they usually record high patronage during election years, but that has not been the case this year. A visit to some car rental companies in Kumasi showed that many of their cars were parked and inactive. That's all for News Roundup on Citi TV. My name is Edward Oponmafo from the Ashanti region. Many thanks for watching.
Welcome to News Roundup from the Eastern Region. My name is Neoni Amate Kanaku. The Ministry of Education, in partnership with Right to Play and Lego Foundation, has launched a project to empower children to become creative, engaged, and lifelong learners through play. The Partner in Play project, to be implemented in 4 years, 6 months, is funded by the Lego Foundation and implemented by Right to Play in partnership with the Ministry of Education and community agencies. This project is targeting 10,000 primary schools in the country. Country Director for Right to Play, Josephine Mukakalisa, says the goal of the project is to improve the quality of education of Ghanaian children aged between 4 to 12 through a scalable and replicable learning through play. Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who joined the launch via Zoom, reiterated government's commitment to provide quality and sustainable education for all Ghanaians at all levels. The Okuman Council, which constitutes the kitchen cabinet consisting of all immediate elders of the Okuapem Hene, is accusing President Akufo-Addo of fueling the Okuapem chieftaincy impasse. The elders, who are blaming government for the current Okuapem crisis, culminating in chieftaincy litigations, says government interference in the Okuapeman's two affairs has made Okuapeman a state of flashpoint ahead of the December polls. According to them, Lily Ajiman has refused to comply with the order of the Judicial Committee of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, which mandated both parties to reconvene a meeting of the Mpanyinfo and the Royal Sechibia House for the purposes of selecting a suitable candidate for nomination by the Okuapem Hema. Spokesperson for the Okuman Council, Oheninana Kwekuo Fair, spoke at a press conference on matters arising in Okuapem Hene Franketu Hene, Nanakwa Kutruku the Fifth, who indicated that the Okuman Council does not recognize Odishia Kwadwo Kese, that installed Okuapem Hene as the legitimate chief of Okuapeman, called on him to stop holding himself as the chief. Okuapem Hene Fotusa Hene, Franketu Hene, and other elders of Okuman Council, who called on President Akufo-Addo to stay away from the chieftaincy issues in the area, indicated that their lawyers have petitioned the National House of Chiefs on the development and are awaiting further directions on the next line of action. Finally, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, says power outages in the Kwahu enclave have been largely halted. It says the days of consistent low voltage and other technical issues are over with the commissioning of the new Impraiso Primary Substation. Speaking at the commissioning of the Impraiso Primary Substation in Kwahu Impraiso, the Eastern Regional ECG manager said the substation will improve system losses, supply reliability, and quality in the Kwahu enclave. He says the station will also bring about flexibility in the supply of power because ECG can now link all 4 outgoing feeders from the station to serve customers. The managing director of ECG, Kwame Ajimambudu, says the company has deployed the use of drones to monitor and audit network systems to curb the major challenge of vegetation interference. That will be all for today's edition of News Roundup from the Eastern Region. My name is Neoni Amati Kanaku, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to the News Roundup from the Bono East Region. I am Michael Chachu Aholi. In the news this morning, the Ghana Health Service is currently embarking on a mass yellow fever vaccination exercise in the Bono East region. The week-long exercise, which is in its 5th day, has already recorded over 70% of its targeted 170,000 people. The free mass vaccination campaign is currently ongoing in 2 districts in the Bono East region and is expected to come to a close on the 18th of November 2020. In other news, patronage of the Kinsampo waterfalls is gradually picking up as the facility is witnessing increasing numbers of tourists. The tourism industry was hugely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic as several restrictions were placed on travel and social gatherings. The site manager for Kinsampo Waterfalls, Bismarck Baden, told Citi News that although the number of tourists they are recording is just a fraction of the numbers they recorded before the pandemic, it was a positive sign. He urged all Ghanaians and tourists to come to the facility and enjoy the amazing facilities the site offers. In our last story for this morning, residents of New Krobo in the Tichman municipality are appealing to the government to urgently facilitate the completion of a bridge that will ease access to their community. This is because they are always cut off from the rest of the country anytime water levels of the Tana River rises, a situation they bemoan. According to them, even though a new bridge has been constructed, it is taking too long for it to be completed. They are thus calling on the authorities to quickly commission the new bridge to ease access to the community. Well, that's it for the news roundup from the Bono East region. I am Michael Chachu Aholi.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the news roundup from the Upper East region. My name is Frederick Auni. The People's National Convention, PNC, says it would not suspend its campaign activities following the death of former President Jerry John Rawlings. The governing New Patriotic Party and opposition National Democratic Congress have both suspended campaign activities following the demise of Mr. Rawlings. The president, Nene Edodankwe Akufo-Addo, has subsequently announced a one-week mourning period, which began last Friday. But the PNC says they are constrained in suspending their campaign because they are behind.
All right, so that's it for the news making the rounds around the nation. Well, it's time for news review. We have a lot coming up today. Today is World Prematurity Day. We're going to have a conversation on that on the health segment later on. But before that is news review. My name is David Kwekusichi.
And I am Dziffa. Okay, I'm at Tam. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
Since 2017, a new dawn is breaking in Ghana. The NPP is building the foundations for growth and transformation. We are curbing unemployment with new and decent jobs.
Thanks to Nana, I've got a new job through NAPCO. That is why I'm voting for him as the MPP.
The promise of free SHS is now a reality.
Through education, I have a brighter future. That's why I'm voting for Nana and the MPP.
The future of our country is in the hands of a competent leader, a man you can trust.
I trust Nana.
This December, let's protect our progress. Let's give Nana 4 more to do more for you.
2020, 4 more for Nana. 2020, yes, for Nana.
In 2 weeks, 6 days, Ghana goes to the polls, the crucial election 2020 on December 7th. My name is Duke Mensopoku. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the News Review segment on Breakfast Daily. Let's begin with the major stories making headlines on the front pages of major newspapers in the country, beginning with the Daily Graphic. Martin Amidu resigns as special prosecutor. Parties express mixed views on resignation. Story on page 29 of the Daily Graphic. Other stories on the front pages: 5 to 12-year-olds to test for COVID-19 at KIA. Electoral materials go to regions. Political parties receive voters' register copies. Motorway bridge undergoes emergency maintenance. To the Ghanaian Times. Leads with the story, Martin Amidu resigns as special prosecutor. Other related stories, other stories on the front pages. Police foil another bank robbery in Accra. Stop work. EPA halts construction of 6-story building at Ashali Botwe. And Minister rallies Ghanaians to strictly observe COVID-19 protocols. To the Chronicle. Contract for sale probe. Amidu punches holes in charge report and then resigns as special prosecutor. Bost made losses under Iwada Akondas according to the management of Bost. And Rawlings was an enigma. Mahama comes with a picture of Kimathi and Zaneto Rawlings at the vigil held in Accra on Sunday. To the Finder newspaper. Amidu resigns after 32 months in office. Details of efforts government made to resource office of the special prosecutor revealed. And businesses report improvement in sales and employment, according to a survey from the Ghana Statistical Service. To online stories now, beginning with citinewsroom.com. Rawlings was a statesman. State must bury him with dignity. That's according to a member of the Council of State, former GBA President Sam Okujeto. Amidu should have persisted in office to prove intolerance for corruption. That's according to US-based Ghanaian accounting professor and lawyer Kweku Asare, popularly known as Kweku Azar. Amidu should have resigned long ago over interference in his work, Manasseh Azuri. Martin Amidu's resignation, a betrayal of trust. That's according to Chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament, the committee that crafted the bill, Office of the Special Prosecutor Act, Ben Abdallah Banda. I am disappointed at Amidu's resignation, Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak. To citybusinessnews.com now. Cowbank hopeful of more stability in Ghana Stock Exchange. NBSSI signs 1.5 million euros grant agreement with GIZ to support SMEs. Regional Conference on Africa Continental Free Trade Area, National Export-Driven Strategy Implementation held at Damongo. Rawlings helped Ghana win bid to host AFTA Secretariat, Minister for Trade and Industry Alan Trematin. TOR can produce over 100,000 barrels of crude a day under good leadership, Member of Parliament for Yapekusol, John Jinapo. To myjournonline.com, Martin Amidu resigned because Rawlings died. That's according to private legal practitioner John Indebugri. To BBC, some global news now. Biden, more people may die as Trump transition stalls. Reference to what's going on. The disputed election, Trump still not accepting the results. For more news, log on to citynewsroom.com. For more business news, log on to citybusinessnews.com. I have been joined in studio by NDC Manifesto spokesperson on governance, Seth Ohini Ofori. Welcome, sir. Ofori Ohini. Yes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I've also been joined by Dennis Miracle Sabwaji, former MC Equiapim North, member of the communications team of the NPP. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Luke.
So we begin with the story that broke and sent the nation into lots of discussion, public discussion, if you monitor, especially on social media. The decision of Martin Amidu to resign. Story on citynewsroom.com reads, Martin Amidu resigns as special prosecutor. The special prosecutor Martin Amidu has resigned from his position. In a letter addressed to President Akufo-Addo, Martin Amidu said his decision is to, quote, enable Your Excellency take steps to appoint a replacement to that position as required by law. He suggested that President Akufo-Addo has not been able to ensure his independence and freedom of action. To quote what he said, it says, the one condition upon which I accepted to be nominated as the special prosecutor when you invited me to your office on 10th January 2018 was your firm promise to me that you will respect and ensure same by your government for my independence and freedom of action as the prosecutor, he stated, citing an example of one of the triggers of his resignation and the decision to make it public. The former Attorney General said he had a, quote, traumatic experience between 20th October 2020 and 2nd November 2020 after releasing his corruption risk assessment on the Dziffa royalties transaction. He said, well, he believed that he was executing his mandate independently. The reactions he has received concerning the work makes him unconvinced that he was not expected to exercise his independence as a special prosecutor, and that makes his work untenable. I'll begin with you, Mr. Ofurio on this issue. Just recently, in the past week, Martin Amidu has been the a point of controversy, a point of disagreement among the political parties, especially after the release of the Dziffa royalties report. Many of the persons in the governing MPP took him on for the issues raised, reasonable suspicion of corruption without any conclusions as to who should be prosecuted, even though he was doing this in his mandate as a preventive corruption mandate as a special prosecutor. The NDC, on the other hand, including the flag bearer of your party, called this action stupid for including or stating in certain paragraphs in that report about his ongoing investigations on the Airbus. What do you make of his decision to resign amidst all these discussions publicly about his work as special prosecutor?
Well, if you take a critical look at Martin Amidu as a person, and also his entry into this particular office as the special prosecutor, the first in our history as a country, the best you could say is a vote of no confidence in Nana Addo and the MPP administration. To Martin Amidu and to many of us, they've demonstrated clearly that they are unable to fight corruption and that they entertain corruption in their government. If my opening remarks, I will leave it there, but I think there are a lot to say. The president will also have to explain circumstances leading to Martin's resignation, and also the MPP as a government, because we need more answers. The questions are coming and we need more answers. I think I'll leave it here.
But if you talk about commitment to fighting corruption, this is an office that was set up based on to fight corruption. Yeah. In terms of budgetary allocations, at a point in time, the 2018 budget, right after his office was set up, 180 million cedis was budgeted for his activities, was given resources and all of that.
Out of the 180,
is that not sufficient proof that government wanted this organization running, looking at all the resource constraints that
if you budget for 180 million and you are unable to release the 180 million for him to perform his function as a special prosecutor, then you are going against the fight against corruption. If what we are the information we are receiving is correct, they gave him only 3 million out of the 180 million, if my memory serves me right, and that is wrong. You see, the entire fight against corruption under Nana Addo has been a sort of a political tool. He rode on the ticket of fighting corruption. They won 2016 election, but so far the activity doesn't show that they are committed to fighting corruption. Yes, Martin Amidu stated clearly political interference. He stated clearly that maybe they thought he would be a puddle. He's not, and he will not be. And that he is committed to fighting corruption. He's a citizen vigilante. He always kicks against corruption throughout his public service. He joined the PNDC, I think, in 1982-83. Has been committed to the cause of the revolution, that is the 31st December revolution, that gave birth to the NDC. So all his life, he's been fighting corruption as a Minister of State, Deputy Attorney General, Minister of Interior, Attorney General. So he is very committed to the fight. He occasionally gets sort of disagreement with even the NDC. I mean, in 2016, he campaigned more or less against us. There are certain aspects he couldn't come out with evidence, which we were not happy, because if you come out with such allegations, there should be evidence. But in this case, he is in the office, he's the first to be appointed, and he's coming out and, look, I'm tired. the political interference in the activities of the special prosecutor cannot be tolerated. And then he went straight to Ejapa. Because so far, Ejapa is the key issue that he's done an assessment of it. That is not an investigation. It's a risk assessment. Yeah. Let's not confuse investigation to risk assessment. And then he came out the report. And first, the Minister of Finance did not take it lightly. He came out with a response. The NPP, as a political party, did not take it lightly because they thought the report undermines what they've been touting.
But if you've made allegations, isn't it only fair that you have a response from those who are cited in the corruption?
They have the right to. They have the right. But the man has come up with a detailed work that assesses the entire Eja pattern. The Eja pattern, clearly, every good citizen of this country will not support it. It is not a deal or an agreement that we should entertain. And I think Nana Addo, as a person, should look at his track record in politics, what he stood for, and ask himself what is happening under his government if it goes with what he told them before coming into power.
But with the decision to refer doesn't it take a certain moral courage from the leader of a country to say on this issue, based on the assessment that has been conducted by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I's were not dotted, T's were not crossed, so go back, send the agreement back to the people who did the scrutiny in that parliament to do probably wider consultation, proper scrutiny, and try all the loose ends.
A president committed to fighting corruption should have done better than that. Okay, not only referring it back. Even I think there were attempts to slow down the report, to make sure the report doesn't come out. There were attempts. There was that political interference from the presidency. There's no two ways about that. And that alone should tell you that, look, the president is not that committed to fighting the corruption. And the major problem in this Ejapa thing is that you see nepotism in the whole deal. Okay? And that makes it difficult for the president himself to come out with certain political decisions.
How nepotistic is the agreement? How nepotistic is the
Ejapa deal?
deal?
The finance minister is his cousin. He is very deep in the whole process. If you go deep again, his nephew, Gabi Oshredako, No.
The finance minister.
Let's
to be fair, has a long-standing track record in investment banking before he became finance minister. That's a matter of public record.
For the finance minister, the report technically indicts him, and he has to be careful. Bernardo's government will not stay forever, and he has to be careful. And you see, the position that he holds as finance minister and the role that data bank plays in most of the key financial transactions raises questions of conflict of interest. You cannot rule that one out, and any government, whether MPP or NDC, that is committed to fighting corruption will raise that issue. There's clear conflict of interest, and I think he should sit down quietly and look at it. Look, good governance entails a lot. Transparency, fight against corruption, accountability, and other key issues. They don't meet the test of times. And I think Ghanaians should begin to see through the NPP that they came on corruption, but they are very deep in corruption.
I'll come to you, Dennis, on this issue. The special prosecutor makes a claim that fundamentally he cannot continue with his work because there is a difference in outlook, in perspective of what his office is set out to do and what the office is actually doing. Martin Amidu further makes allegations about not being given the required resources and all that is required for him to do his work as special prosecutor. And then there is the accusation that this is an indictment on the reputation of the NPP government led by the Akufo-Addo administration. How do you plead your case?
Good morning again, Drake, and a very warm good morning to my people in the capital north. Today, you see, coincidentally, Both of us are from Ethiopian.
Oh,
that's my uncle right there. We're actually all from Latte. You know, so it's more of a family discussion with divergent views. Okay. I think that it's very strange for us as a country, looking at the attitude of the NDC since yesterday afternoon when Martin Amidu's letter came out. It actually confirms my position. Remember last week or so when I was here, I told you about how incompetent the NDC has become as an opposition because they do not have principles. Martin Amidu was appointed by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Martin Amidu is a known member of the NDC, a one-stop official in an NDC government. In fact, all the NDC governments that have come to go by. Martin Amidu was appointed by the president on the basis of the fact that he has been an anti-corruption crusader in this country for a very long time. And the president felt that if he is really, really interested in, you know, dealing with the issues of corruption, then one key person that could actually help in building the institution that he, the president, envisages is Martin Amidu.
But it's also a fact that at the time that he was appointed, he had falling out with the NDC, and many attributed a part of the loss of the party he founded to comments that he made on comments that he made about John Mahama's even ability to fight corruption. So it's the same character that is coming back to bite the Akufo-Addo administration now.
We have never complained
with the things that he says.
We have never said anywhere that
and the lack of commitment towards fighting corruption.
We have never said anywhere that he's beaten us. We'll come to it. Super. So it tells you that His Excellency the President actually looked at his resume and actually believed that he could actually deliver. From what you have said, it tells you the kind of person he believes that Martin Amidu is. So Martin Amidu was actually the right person at that point in time for the job. Now, the president was not looking at Martin Amidu just as a person. He needed an institution to be built for this country to be able to deal with the issue of corruption. That's why a whole law was enacted and passed to back the Office of Special Prosecutor. If Martin Amidu is resigning today, 90% of the blame should go to my uncle Seth and his party, because we were here just last week when we're discussing how the flag bearer of the NDC denigrates, insults, virtually runs down Martin Amidu in this country. He went straight ahead attacking the man and calling him stupid and actually calling him a coward. It becomes quite fascinating to hear the same NDC come 7 days after to be hailing the same person and talking about how principled he is. Because I heard my uncle telling us about how principled he thinks Martin Amidu is, how consistent he has been, how much of a crusader he has been. This is 7 days after they have gone ahead to call him stupid and call him a coward. I will come to the substantive issue. But the point I'm making is that if we are going to be discussing corruption and discussing Martin Amidu, the NDC should leave that discussion to you, the journalists, civil society organizations, and we, the MPP.
But this is a direct accusation.
I'm saying that they have no moral mandate or obligation to contribute to the discussion.
This discussion goes beyond morality.
They do not have it.
It's about fighting corruption.
But you insulted. If you run the person down, if you say the person is stupid, you have to just assume that every action by the person is actually stupid. So I'm expecting the NDC to assume that Martin Amidu resigning is actually a cowardice act and it's a stupid act. So they do not even have to be worried. Now, coming back to the substantive matter, I do not think since the Japan report was released by Martin Amidu, you have heard even a single person from the MPP or from this government saying anything against Martin Amidu. Never. Nobody raised any concerns whatsoever with Martin Amidu. As a matter of fact, what we did, and I was here, you remember I even went ahead to indicate that his decision not to even prosecute President John Mahama was one that was emotionally intelligent because of the times that we're in. That was the time when the same NDC were insulting him for actually mentioning John Mahama. So you see the contradictions. So we have been very, very consistent with our belief and support for Martin Amidu. Fast forward, Martin Amidu comes forward and says that I have resigned. I have resigned from my position as Special Prosecutor, but the Office of Special Prosecutor is still intact and still operational. with their mandate still fully in place. When the president received the Ejapa report, the president did not in any way vilify Martin. What he did rather was to write on the back of the report to Parliament, asking them to look into the assessment that Martin Amidu has done and possibly review what it is they have done, taking into cognizance the recommendations. Because you see, what Martin did was an assessment. Every organization, every institution does these things. Even private institutions do risk assessment. Citi, at some point you run risk assessment on some of your products and some of your subsidiaries that you want to come up with. When those reports or recommendations come, what you do is you look at them and factor the ones that you believed are justified. Quickly, the finance minister or the finance ministry also came up with their own comments on the assessment to sort of clarify and explain some of the issues that Martin Amidu raised in the report. Because whatever Martin Amidu has written is not to say that it is a word of God. It is only to say that that is what he thinks as a special prosecutor. That and a lot of the issues he raised were procedural issues. And so I think that if you have done it this way, if you have done this, and the final issue is, well, for this particular one, we did it this way. And this is what backs our position that we did it this way. We submitted this at this time, we advertised this at this time, we wrote this at this time. That is what we call interactions between state institutions to strengthen the transaction that we're doing.
That it's an independent office. But on that note, we'll take a break. When I come back, we'll wrap up this discussion and move to the other matters. For interaction here on Citi TV Breakfast Daily. We'll be back after the break. Hello and welcome back. This is the news review segment on Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. I still have in studio Dennis Miracle Sabuaji, member of the MPP communications team, and Seth Ofori Ohene, who is NDC spokesperson on governance for the 2020 manifesto of the NDC. Before we went on a break, you were making a point concluding on the issues regarding the resignation of Martin.
I have 3 points
just
to make.
Briefly.
Now, the Ejapa report, nowhere did it cite anybody for corruption. Nowhere did the report cite anybody for bribery.
Reasonable suspicion of corruption.
Yes, suspicion is not a fact.
Basis for him to prosecute.
That is why it's an assessment. No, that is, you see, when you are assessing, when you are doing a risk assessment, you look out for the cracks and the loopholes. They are not in any way a confirmation of any act. So nowhere in the report was it stated there was any act of corruption or bribery. In fact, he even himself indicated that in a report that it was not an investigation but just an assessment, and it could purely be an opinion. It could purely be an opinion. It could just be that I think because I've seen Dennis with Duke before. If Dennis is doing something, if I think that it is Duke doing something, then because of Duke's relationship with Dennis, I suspect that Dennis might have. But it could so be that Duke has even not spoken with Dennis on that matter in about 3 or 4 years. So it could just be an opinion or a suspicion. Now, the Ejapa report, after the president had referred to Parliament, had the finance ministry also clarifying their position on some of the issues. Never, nowhere did you see anybody within the MPP or the government attack Martin Amidu. Don't forget, Ejapa report was not only on mineral income fund. Let me quickly chip it in. If you read the Ejapa report, there was a major headline on the Airbus saga. Yeah. So if you cannot decide what to focus on. The former president, who is a flag bearer of the NDC, decided to focus on mineral income fund from the report and rubbish the Airbus saga. But let it be put on record that if there is anybody in this country who is going to be speaking on corruption, all the 28 to 30 million Ghanaians can speak, except for one person, His Excellency John Mahama, because he is the only person in this country since independence, probably since our colonial days, who has been cited as a certain president and as a certain vice president for directly, and the word is directly underlined, being indicted for bribery.
I'll give you the opportunity to respond.
Now, I would explain to him. Martin Amidu, the same Martin Amidu, in his letter, when he was Attorney General, wrote to the then President Atamils that he suspects the former president, who was then Vice President, had gone into some underhand dealings with this transaction in the purchase of the Embraer planes. Martin Amidu, is he accepting that? You know that for a fact. The same Martin Amidu. If he disputes that,
which letter?
If he disputes that,
which letter?
If you haven't seen it before, ask him. He will give it to you. The Embraer plane
issue came up before.
Yes. Now the second,
but you have to be sure of what he's saying.
That is what I'm talking about. That is the same. It is true. So it is the same Martin Amidu. So what we just have to put this on record now. If he is saying the Embraer allegation from Martin Amidu is not true, then which is the issue that Martin Amidu ever says that the NDC will accept, except for the mineral income fund? Now, as I conclude, let it be put on record that we think that Martin Amidu reserves the right as a Ghanaian or as an officer of state to resign at any point in time without anybody holding him back. I am sure that a lot of the issues that he's raised in the letter, eventually the presidency would respond to them. As it stands now, what is key is that Martin Amidu is not gone home with the office of the special prosecutor. He himself said that he's handing over to the deputy special prosecutor to continue with the work. The last time I checked, as at yesterday, the office of the special prosecutor had secured an arrest warrant for Mr. Samuel Adam Mahama, another person indicated in the Ejapa report connected to the Airbus saga. What it means is that the office of the special prosecutor is still working. Yeah. Airbus is in the Ejapa report.
But we are discussing
but he mentioned Ejapa. No, but you see, you are mixing the issues. Did he mention Ejapa or not?
He did. He mentioned Airbus as well. But the major issue devoted over 60 pages of the report.
The Ejapa report that was introduced was not just on mineral income fund.
Amidu mentioned Ejapa in his resignation letter.
Ejapa report. He said the release of his Ejapa report. Is that the case? Yeah. Have you read the Ejapa report? The Ejapa report has issues on mineral income fund as well as Airbus saga. Yeah. So you cannot pick the Ejapa report and take out the Airbus saga line where he confirmed in that report that government official one is John Mahama.
No. All right.
Let's because the
Ejapa report doesn't include Airbus.
What are you? Have you read the report?
Hold on. In the Ejapa report, hold on.
No.
He
should be responsible. Was it in it or not?
There's a portion of the Ejapa report that talks about the Airbus.
So what are you talking about? So if every time is not part, what are you talking about?
At this point, let me bring in.
I need to conclude.
Yes,
I want to ask simple questions. The report that Amidu submitted, which he says is one of the reasons why he is resigning, included several issues, 64 pages as you indicated. Now, how do you decide to pick the discussion on only mineral income fund? As it stands now, the only person who has attacked Amidu since that report came out was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama on the basis that that report had Airbus saga where he confirmed him being government official one. So it could be that it is John Mohammed's attack on him on the Ejapa report that has led him to resign.
Oh, no, please.
Okay. Why is saying no? What are you talking about?
You have your right of reply.
Yeah. But they say
it won't be fair for him to interject. So when
I agree, but they say let's try to be. He's my brother or my nephew. Let's try to be as truthful as much as possible. I know we are in a political season, but when you are doing the presentation, make sure they are factual. For example, the Japan report just cited cases that are under invest, other cases, okay, which is not related to a Japan. That is why our flag bearer and former president questioned why Airbus should be introduced.
But it's in the report, and in his response to the flag bearer of the NDC,
hold on.
Martin Amidu indicated that
we've all been
issues
to school.
And issues there too.
Allow me, we've all been to school. We know how reports are written. Okay, and for me, where I sit, Martin Amidu's resignation and response to the president clearly shows that he was even under pressure to put that aspect in the report, the political interference.
As an independent office set up,
because we all write reports. In the course of work, okay, we all write reports. I've seen risk assessment. We do risk assessment. We do, as political persons, we do political risk assessment. If you are in government, most of the agreements, you allow independent people to do political risk assessment to ensure or to assess the whole project and see whether it's viable, beneficial to the people of your country. You understand? So what Martin did is something that we all know, and he did it well. The only challenge in that report is, why do you introduce other cases that you are likely?
It's at liberty to do that, is he not?
Yeah, but it has some technical difficulty.
Okay. Let me read this statement here. If you can.
The main issue, he was questioning the former president's commitment to fighting corruption and good governance. The former president has clearly, in the course of 4 years that he became president and the 4 years that he became vice president and also subsequently as minister of state, demonstrated his commitment to fighting corruption and good governance. He has always, at all material times, okay, made sure that his decisions are in the interest of the state. And if you question his comment on the stupidity that he used in Martin, I mean, Martin since 2016 campaigned vigorously against him and his government. So if at this time of the political season you are presenting a report on Ejapa and he introduced Airbus and also mentioned that his government official one, it raises a lot of questions, because first of all, the Airbus then was not an issue that was investigated by the government of Ghana. It's an international issue.
It had been referred to him, Martin Amidu, to
yes, there is no,
he indicated
doubt about that.
He used that opportunity as well to update Ghanaians on what was happening in what do you call
look,
it?
If you speak to legal minds, which definitely there will be difference in opinion, some of them even question even the ability to prosecute that particular case because of evidence. Because what have you gotten from the SFO from the UK? What do you have on the ground to prosecute?
That's not what we are discussing about on that matter.
Oh, no,
a lot of people worldwide, Malaysia has completed its investigation. Malaysia was also cited in the Airbus scandal. We've completed their investigations. A lot of other people have done that. So if there's
we are not questioning that. We are not questioning
on the part of the government of Ghana. They can also do that. Yes.
We are questioning the prosecution, which he is saying that they should have. No. There are technical issues there that prosecution becomes difficult. But as you said, that is not what we are discussing. Okay. So let's leave it there. But generally, Martin Amidu's resignation has clearly demonstrated a loss of confidence in the Nana Addo government, and clearly that they are not committed to fighting corruption.
this is just a statement coming in now from the NPP. Yeah. Says press release by the New Patriotic Party on the resignation of Martin Amidu as a special prosecutor. Yeah. The New Patriotic Party has received with shock and dismay the news of the resignation of Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu. Shock because Mr. Amidu chose to walk away from the golden opportunity of establishing a brand new effective agency, having had the best part of the 3 years to demonstrate and cement his undoubted anti-corruption credentials in doing so. The presidency and the Ministry of Finance, the evidence indicates clearly, has done everything to make the OSP operational, effective and independent. The decision to appoint Martin Amidu himself is a clear indication that the president did not intend for the office to be headed by a lackey. We remember those who lacked courage to implement their own manifesto pledge. The National Democratic Congress gave a manifesto promise to separate the Attorney General's Department from the Ministry of Justice to give the AG the independence to prosecute corruption cases without fear or favor. But when they were given the power to act, they lacked the courage to do so. That has not been the case with Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP. We remember in 2012 when Martin Amidu, who described the NDC of undertaking gargantuan corruption, was sacked by President John Evans Atta Mills, the Chief of Staff justified with a statement that Mr. Martin Amidu, quote, misconducted himself, accused President Mills of interfering with the AG's prosecutorial powers under the Constitution in relation to 3 dockets, unquote. Thankfully, that era is behind us. Ghanaians admired Martin Amidu's subsequent role as citizen vigilante, and it was because of this fierce sense of independence and experience as a prosecutor that apparently persuaded President Akufo-Addo to nominate Martin Amidu, a long-standing leading member of the NDC, to be the first special prosecutor. Even then, the NDC fought against the appointment at the Supreme Court, but without success. Mr. Amidu has not resigned because any investigation of his has been interfered with by the presidency or any member of the government. Since 2018, he has been offered all the room and support he needed by law and mandate, and every money he has requested to set up an entirely new institution which comes with its own challenges and to operate the office independently and efficiently. No political office holder has interfered in the administration of that office. Indeed, that his action appeared to impact both the incumbent and immediate past governments vindicates the wisdom of the mandate and powers of the office which he occupied, an office hinged on independence of thought and action. Independence cannot be infallible. Independence does not mean the actions of the office cannot be commented upon by the people, as has happened with Martin Amidu's report on Ijapa. Also, for the OSP to work well, the principles of natural justice must be respected at all times. Mr. Amidu's letter of resignation would appear that he chose to resign because His Excellency the President sought to apply the Odi Oterim Patem rules to enable the assessment report, to enable the Honorable Finance Minister Citi's case after an anti-corruption risk assessment and corruption assessment report was done on Ijapa, and the minister's role in it assessed and conclusions reached without the minister giving the minister the prior opportunity to explain matters beyond the documents assessed. In short, the very independence and authority of the office demand that its conclusions hold up to scrutiny. In this regard, much as the office has the power and the right to issue the report, the recipient president also has a duty to engage the Honorable Minister of Finance, who in his memo requested by the president in response clearly engages very transparently on the issues raised in the report. To the conclusion, says contrast that with the NPP's record cumulatively. Contrast that with the NPP's record cumulatively from the era of President Kufuor. We have major transparency enhancing legislation or sunshine legislation and case law being developed, internal audits, procurement, OSP, RTI, and the Reformed Companies Act, to mention but a few. Kufuor rightly diagnosed public procurement as a problem, whilst Nana Addo determined to assault impunity, with Nana Addo determined to assault impunity once and for all. Between clean procurement and reduced impunity, Ghana's corruption fight would be over. Beyond the OSP, with the setup of the Right to Information Commission, President Nana Addo has set up the stage for a deeper, reflective, and sustainable culture of transparency and accountability. The NPP is assured that His Excellency the President has created the largest space for civil society participation in governance. As the architect of the repeal of the criminal libel under President Kufuor, he enabled the media to modernize and blossom, creating not only a culture of aggressive inquiry into public affairs, but also numerous jobs and opportunities for growth and actualization. The NPP urges His Excellency the President to accept the resignation of the Special Prosecutor and initiate processes to find a successor to continue the sensitive an important job of realizing the true ambit of the powers of the OSP in order to ensure the success of the fight against corruption. Signed, Yawabi and Samoa Communications Director. A minute on it, and then we'll move to the second issue.
Yeah, there is clearly a political statement from a political party. And my problem with it is, first of all, attempting to link it to our administration and whatever happened. We are dealing with Ejapa and Martin Amidu's resignation. Deal with it because the whole political party and their government and the president more or less have been cited in a scandal. Okay, so they should deal with the issue. Is corruption now? And the commitment of the government, clearly they've shown no commitment, and Martin Amidu is gone. So they should sit down and reflect. Look at other scandals that have happened under the administration. If you take the PDS scandal that happened, so many scandals. And I think there is a government that they should sit down and see that they've lost the good governance fight, they've lost the corruption fight, and they've disappointed the good people of Ghana. Okay. And that the NDC is very much worried with what is happening. We are committed to good governance. We are committed to fighting corruption under the John Mahama administration.
Brief comment on this.
Look, we accept the Ejapa report from Martin Amidu in whole. He raised the issue of the gaps he identified in the Mineral Income Fund. And so the president has referred it to Parliament. In the same vein, we accept his confirmation that in the same Ejapa report, the confirmation that in the Airbus bribery scandal, where a certain government official in Ghana received €5 million through his brother called Samuel Adam Mahama, he confirmed in the Ejapa report that the government official one he has confirmed to be the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama. We do not begrudge Mr. Martin Amidu in any way with this decision to resign as a government. If you read the statement from the presidency, it's quite clear. We do not think that his resignation is stupid. We do not think that he resigning is cowardice. We think that he is a Ghanaian who reserves the right to take decisions at every point in time as he so desires. Okay. If the president wanted a special prosecutor to manipulate and interfere in his business, I doubt if the president would have appointed Martin Amidu, because there are several lawyers in the MPP that the president could call any time to tell them what to do, and he would have appointed such persons if that is what he sought to do. In the same way that we have accepted the report on Minerals Income Fund and sent back to Parliament, in that same vein, we're expecting whoever will be taking over from Mr. Martin Amidu to continue the pursuit of the Airbus scandal and ensure that Mr. Mahama, who has been identified as government official one by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, is duly investigated and duly prosecuted.
All right, let's move to the second issue. You can tie that in with the discussion on the second matter. The story reads, we won't allow anyone to dictate to us how to mourn Rawlings. Now, the National Democratic Congress says it will not allow external actors to decide the way it should mourn its founder, Jerry John Rawlings. This comes after the party accused the government of sidelining them in processes leading up to the funeral of the late former president. Its General Secretary Johnson Esiedun Ketia also said, besides the failure to mention the NDC in the president's statement announcing the death of Rawlings, the party's flag bearer John Mahama was also prevented from signing the Book of Condolence at the Accra International Conference Center last Friday, November 13th. So there's this ongoing debate. President John Dramani Mahama, candidate of the NDC, signed this Book of Condolence yesterday. There's ongoing debate about whether it should be the state, the family, the party take the lead in organizing this funeral in memory of departed former President Jerry John Rawlings.
Yeah, before I get to that, let me just pass a brief comment that government official one is not John Dramani Mahama.
I would like to put it.
No. You keep saying that, but I would like to put it on record.
Is Martin Amidu lying?
If we should,
is Martin Amidu lying?
John Dramani Mahama
is Martin Amidu lying?
You did not appreciate.
So do my time out.
You didn't appreciate.
So I'll use my time to also clarify that.
Okay,
no problem.
So please.
Yeah, please. I want it to be on record.
Okay.
He is not.
Okay, I'll respond to this.
Okay.
I'll respond
substantive issue.
And deal with your corruption issue as a government. You are whole in corruption.
I'll respond to that. I'll respond to that.
No.
The substantive issue.
Thank you very much. I should say that Ofosu Ampofo comment, it's something that is dear to the heart of all NDC members. Jerry John Rawlings was the founder of the National Democratic Congress. He took us from a revolution to a constitutional government. He's somebody that personally I've been very committed to during his government, growing up, joining the Democratic Youth League of Ghana as part of the revolutionary process, a young guy, committing myself to the activism of the revolution. And he leaving us at this time, especially that we are going to an election, something that is heartbreaking. And first of all, my condolence to the family and to members of our great party, the National Democratic Congress, and the good people of this country. Now, clearly when the former president passed, I think we saw a lot of state actors in the whole process. We saw the family going to the presidency to inform the president of the death, which, as former head of state, they have to. But some people question the timing and everything, and some people started raising the family's involvement in the whole process and the party in particular, because he is a man whose efforts brought about the NDC, and you cannot take that one out of him.
But his personality has outgrown the party, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, but you see,
to the level that he's a statesman.
But you cannot go through the process without the involvement of the party. Yes, the state is involved, but then that recognition, the party should be recognized. And I am happy that the party has shown commitment across the country. The National had a vigil. We had work in K2, South, various constituencies across the country. We've opened book of condolence for people to express their feelings about the death and show that commitment. So it's not an issue that I would like to drag, but I think we should all as Ghanaians accept that, look, he had a party, and the party will be part of the process, and we will actually lead the process as a party. Yes, state protocol is a state person. They will bury him in the midst of state resources here and there, but the party will play a leading role in the whole process.
All right, come up. Same question to you.
So just so I clarify my position, Mr. Amidu is the one who said in the Ejapa report that Mr. Mahama is government official one that was indicated in the SFO report as to having received close to 5 million euros through his brother, who was identified as the intermediary, Samuel Adam Mahama. He, in fact, in the same report went ahead to indicate that that is not the only thing. He has documentary evidence of suspected forgeries and deceits of a public officer by 3 full-blooded brothers in the corruption transaction. He even said that Mr. Mahama is the one who guaranteed for the passport of Mr. Samuel Adam Mahama.
Right, that's right.
So I just wanted to I like the Ejapa report very much. So whenever I speak to the Ejapa report, I want to digest the report.
That's not up for discussion anymore.
No, but he raised it.
Yeah, that's
so,
why
so I'm clarifying with evidence.
Quickly clarify.
So that's fine. Now to His Excellency the former President Rawlings' funeral. I think that the one who is actually crying more than the bereaved is the NDC. I am at a loss. I am at a loss as to why they are fighting over, the dead body of their founder, because they did not accord their founder that same honor and respect whilst he was alive. One, the NDC's flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, totally fell out with the former president. In fact, at some point,
it is not
he
true.
was calling him a 10 god from the Volta region.
Mr. Ofori, you didn't appreciate
Uncle, when you were speaking,
you didn't appreciate it. When you said a lot of things
that were not factual. You said a lot of things that were not factual. A lot. You said a lot of things.
You didn't stick to the issue.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Mahama actually referred to him as a 10 god from the Volta region, and it was time for them to put him to sleep. Esiedun Ketia, the general secretary of the party, actually referred to him as a barking dog, and at some point said that they have been able to cage him. The former president himself, in his very last exclusive interview to Asasi Radio, said it on live TV that he did
Asasi Radio, live
Asasi Radio, yes, it was on TV. They like online, Facebook Live. Said it that he did not vote for the NDC in 2016. He said it.
Oh yes, I mean,
you've seen that. So you can't come here and come and claim him. The man said he didn't vote for you. How can a founder of the political party who is so much in love with the party not vote for the party?
But his ideals are
we would not
essentially
allow
represent what
he
the party
said
stands
it on several platforms that the ideals of probity and accountability that he set up the NDC with has moved away, and that they have departed from it. Now, this is what we will not do as a country. His Excellency, the former president, is a state asset. We need to respect his will. His wishes, one of his wishes were for the MDC not to ever win an election, and that's why he voted against them in 2016.
That's why you are inferring.
No, he voted against them.
You see, I've told you.
Did he vote? Did he say? No, hold on. Did he say that he voted against them in 2016 or not?
He did.
So what are you saying? What are you talking about?
But that's you cannot infer based on that his wish was for them to forever.
In 2020,
did he vote for the daughter as NDC or not?
In 2020,
no, did he vote for the daughter as NDC?
This is unfair. In 2020, he has allowed his wife.
I don't think it should be
He has allowed his wife in 2020 to file as a presidential candidate in an elections in Ghana. It tells you, without having any struggle, the kind of perception he has about his own political party. Now, fast forward, you cannot vilify, run down, insult your own founder, the manner in which persons like Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, persons like Dr. Omane Boama and co run the former president down, and then immediately he passes, you come and say, oh, give it to me. You know, former president belongs to two key stakeholders: his immediate family and then the state.
Okay.
Now there is a reason why the family did not go to the NDC, but they ran to the state first.
Okay.
It tells you that the family's own recognition of the NDC in the life of their dear son is in question.
That's how we wrap up today's edition of the Breakfast News Review on Breakfast Daily. My name is Duke Mentopu. We had in studio Dennis Miracle Sabwaji, member of the MPP Communications team, and Seth Ohini Ofori. Yes, who is a NDC spokesperson on the 2020 manifesto for governance. We'll take a break here. When we're back, there's a performance and the health segment with Dr. Kelvin Osu speaking about Maturity Day. We'll take a break here. When we are back, Breakfast Daily continues.
2 weeks ago, I had nowhere to turn to. I needed funds urgently. That's when I ran into Wafakofi. It's you, Wafakofi.
Hello.
It's good I saw you here.
Really?
You know, with businesses restarting after the lockdown, getting funds has been really difficult to pay for some of the goods in high demand, and my supply is no longer selling on credit.
Sister Ama, my financial partner is Advanced Savings and Loans. Advanced stayed by my side all through the COVID crisis. They offered me grace period. They also gave me advice on how to manage my business, and now they are here to help me clear my containers by offering me a loan.
Are you sure they are giving out loans even during the COVID pandemic?
Yes, Advanced Ghana has you covered.
So that's how I got a loan to stock up my shop.
Call us on 0800 355 355 or visit our nearest branch for our various loan and deposit products. Advance, your preferred financial partner.
During tough times, we need a competent leader we can trust to keep us all safe.
Nana gave me free water when I needed it most to keep me clean and safe from COVID-19.
Nana gave me lower cost of internet during COVID-19 to operate my small business from home.
Nana told us to trust him to keep our children safe from COVID-19 when we send them back to school. Nana was right.
Nana gave me free electricity in my hour of need during COVID-19.
Nana told us to trust him to keep Ghana safe from COVID-19.
I'm 22, he's 24. We're both tertiary students and we've dated for almost 3 years now. My problem is the fact that we keep on getting intimate and I'm not too happy about it. This is because I'm very religious and he isn't. Also, I'm scared of getting pregnant because we're both not ready for a baby. Well, he uses protection whenever we get intimate, but my integrity is my concern. Sisters, my conscience is not clear and I feel my integrity is dwindling by the minute. In a bid to convince me that I'm in good hands, he suggested we have a blood covenant to enable us, or to assure me of his sincerity and love. Truth is, he has never cheated on me before. Sadly, I've broken up with him because of the constant fornication, which is against my religious beliefs. On the other hand, I'm worried that I may have to let a good guy go who loves me, and that's not what I would want. I need very good advice on what to do. Please help a confused sister.
You're 22. You were so young, my dear. There's so much in life to experience besides one guy shagging you 24/7.
Women can stay for a very long time without having sex. For the guy, as soon as he feels the edge, he has to find a place to,
When you start having sex, you realize that you can't even see the bad things in the relationship.
Sister is sponsored by Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready and secure. You decide.
Comprehensive news. The Citi Newsroom at 8 p.m. on Citi TV is your most engaging news bulletin on TV.
It's a very oh, that's too bad. The youth are still throwing stones. They are still throwing stones here into our direction. And can I come in? I want to come in. Okay.
Telling your stories better with correspondents covering every corner of the country.
Getting access to potable water is a daily struggle for residents of Kakichekopi and Balekopi communities in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region.
Citi Newsroom at 8 p.m. Very fluent with issues that concern you.
This inquiry me cover on Mr. Rabbi, someone is here, Brett. Told you can make 1 week. What do you say?
Is it unfair? What all this? What all this? We are dying! We are dying! We are dying for chocolate!
With Citi Newsroom, your community is now connected.
In this our community, all of us, we are very sorry about this school. If we went to see the children, they are so small. Even my grandchildren are there. My grands outside there. If they come out from the school, I have to be safe.
Every day at 8 p.m., Citi Newsroom is live on Citi TV.
I go by the name DJ AY. Big up Citi TV. Big up everyone watching us live. You don't know, it's all love out here. DJ, listen this one. Say, I be you say you know go lie me. Yeah, say you say you know they shy me. Yeah, I thought you said you gonna call me. Yeah, and now I call you know they mind me. Yeah, baby all I need is your love. Baby all I need is your touch. Baby come and give me your love. Oh yeah. DJ, I be say you know go lie me. Yeah, say you know they shy me. Yeah, I thought you said you gonna call me. Yeah, and now I call you know they mind me. Yeah, baby all I need is your love. Baby all I need is your touch. Baby come and give me your love. Oh, yeah. So if I call you answer. Don't play with me. Say I need you. Oh my baby day. Oh my baby's day. Listen, I mean you say you don't go lie me. Yeah, I say you say you know they shy me. Yeah, I thought you said you gonna call me. Yeah, and now I call you know they mind me. Yeah, baby all I need is your love. Baby all I need is your touch. Baby come and give me your love. I don't want come and kill myself, joy. Say I need you, oh my baby day, oh my baby's day. Say don't play with man, say I need you, oh my baby day, oh my baby's day, baby's day. Girl I no fit up, I no fit bed, I no fit dead. Anytime I have to cry out loud, my baby, baby. As the morning comes, the Sunday rise, I'm hoping, baby, that the day will come and start. So my baby, as I there for you. So now baby day, and I just they wait on you. So they come and stay. Baby, all I need is your love. Baby, all I need is your touch. Baby, come and give me your love. I know I come and kill myself, joy. Say I need you, oh my baby day, oh my baby's day. Say don't play with man, say I need you, oh my baby day, oh my baby's day, baby's day. Listen, DJ, listen, say too much calling. When my baby know they pick up, get that thing you they do, you they make a yawa. Oh my baby, you they keep me with your body, you they keep me with your dimples. Get that thing you they do, you they make a yawa. Say, oh yeah, why me? Get that thing you they do me. Oh yeah, bagamu, make a yawa. Listen, cause who him say when him watchy, I won't care. Brand a me chawe DJ, oh, get that thing you they do, you they make a yawa, baby wara, baby wara, baby wara. If your face they give me yawa, baby wara, baby wara, baby wara. If your face they give me yawa. Show me your ways, yeah. Susanna, your ways, yeah. Valina, your ways, yeah. Oh, my baby, you they keep me with your body. You they keep me with your dimples. Get that thing you they do, you they make a yawa. Say, oh, yeah, why me? Get that thing you they do me. Oh, yeah, bagamu, make a yawa. Cause who name star when him watchy, I won't care. Brana me chawe DJ, oh, get that thing you they do, you they make a yawa, baby wara, baby wara, baby wara. If your face they give me yawa, baby wara, baby wara, baby wara. If your face they give me yawa. Big up every generation fan out there, you see me? It's all love, yeah. Yeah, DJ, yeah. Say, this year more generation, yeah, we dey take control, yeah. I feel when me see grace from we, it be high we dey go, yeah. It be the love when my fans then they give where they make how they feel alright. Oh, and I feel now they move so far, yeah. Hold on, yeah. Make I tell you this, I know they slow down, yeah. And I they move so
My name is Chuku the Painter, and I'm here to do a 73 seconds painting of our Papa J, Jerry John Rawlings. Stay tuned.
On the health segment, we're going to be discussing a very, very, very important topic. Today is World Prematurity Day, all right, Prematurity Day, and we're going to be discussing premature babies and all that's to do with premature babies. We're going to try and get in as deeply and as quickly as possible. So I've been joined by Dr. Kelvin Owusu, who is our regular medical director here, and he is the medical director of Optimal Care Diagnostics. We also have here Edith Oyubukeri, and she is the co-founder of Little Big Souls. Now, I know I've butchered her name, but she's going to help me out here. And then we also have Vivian Boating, who is a mother of a child that was born prematurely. So, going to have an interesting conversation. This segment is sponsored by the Farmers Market. The Farmers Market, 100% hygienic and farm fresh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
Very well.
Very fantastic. Now, let me begin with Edith. Edith, you have been advocating for a very long time.
Yes.
How many years now since you began advocating for
Premature
preemies?
babies.
Yes.
Well, it all started in 2003
Okay.
when I lost a preemie.
Okay.
So my sister and I co-founded Little Big Souls not very long after, a few months after. The idea was to try and make sure that other people didn't go through what we did, because for us it was an unnecessary loss of life if the necessary resources had been available in the hospital where she was born.
Yeah.
So we were both living abroad then. So we founded it in England, and the idea was just to send equipment, help with consumables, and with staffing of NICUs, because that was one of our problems, staffing of a NICU. And then the question became, I mean, my sister asked,
So
what
NICU
next?
is neonatal
intensive care unit,
Okay.
yes. And then we realized, as we were researching, that it was a huge problem across the continent in particular, and that we had no organization that was like a voice for the premature baby in our region. So we collaborated with the March of Dimes in the US, the European Foundation for Newborn, which is a umbrella parent organization for Europe, and the National Preemie Foundation of Australia. So we basically thought we had covered 4 continents. And we came together in 2008 to form what we call the World Prematurity Network, which has now become the Global Alliance for Prematurity, and instigated World Prematurity Day back then. And basically the reason for the collaboration was also not just to be a charity that helped locally, but that we level the playing field, that your location of birth shouldn't necessarily determine your chance of survival as a premature baby. And that's really what it was. So we had best practice, share best practice. We tap into their research, because March of Dimes is a big research organization. Obviously we don't have that here. So that was the reason for that. So we launched in Abuja, because my sister moved to Abuja then, in 2009. And then we launched in Ghana because I moved to Ghana in 2010. And so we've been going strong since then.
Wow, wow. Doctor,
yes.
Why are babies born prematurely?
Well, there are many reasons why a baby could be born prematurely. It could be from the baby's side, it could be from the mother's side, it could also be environmental. And so, for instance, if a mother, I think we discussed high-risk pregnancy some time ago.
Yes.
If a mother has a prevailing health condition, that requires intervention by the medical personnel, it could result in the baby being born preterm. So let's say, for instance, the mother has hypertension, which is very, very, very difficult to control as a result of the pregnancy. At some point, one of the ways of intervening would be to remove the baby. So now, if this need to remove the baby happens before 37 completed weeks, that's considered premature or preterm. You know, and so many reasons, diabetes, or it could be that there's placenta insufficiency. In other words, the placenta is not able to provide enough nourishment for the baby. You know, that could result in a preterm labor and all that. Ill health, malaria can actually trigger labor. You know, yes. Let's say a road traffic accident could trigger labor. If the baby is having difficulty in what do you call it, heart rate abnormalities, it could necessitate preterm labor. And so there are so many reasons that a child may need to be born prematurely. It could start naturally. It could also be started artificially by the medical team.
Okay, all right. Let me come to you, Vivian. Now, you actually gave birth to a baby who's a big girl now. What was prematurely? What was that like for you? What was the whole period of looking at this baby that didn't look like any baby that you had seen before and all of that? Tell us what that felt like, what that looked like.
It was scary. I mean, for myself and for my husband. My husband couldn't, he had to stand afar and then look at the baby in the incubator.
Wow. Was that your first child?
That was my first.
Okay.
I was expecting twins. And when I visited the hospital, I mean, I was given the news that you're expecting twins, and I was excited. But the doctor on the second visit said, but I don't like this kind of twins formation. Maybe the doctor can explain that better, but because they usually don't survive. And I was hurt and angry at the same time. Like, why, for a new, mother, why would you say it like that? At least say it nicely. So I actually left that hospital and then went to a different hospital. And, well, they said they told me the same thing, but at least they said it in a way that, and then tried to find a solution. Yes, and they told me that okay, they put me on bed rest on the 6th month. They said there was discordance in growth, so one baby wasn't getting food. So I had to be in one place because I was a ballet teacher and dancer, I was all over the place, and I thought, oh, pregnancy is not a sickness, so I was just living my life. But then also it was a struggle because I couldn't eat. I mean, I would throw up everything, that entered my tummy. So I was really, really struggling. So by the 7th month, that's after 1 month in the hospital, they noticed that they couldn't hear one of the heartbeats. So I was sent to do a scan, and then they realized I'd lost one baby. In my womb, so I had to be referred to Kolebu. And after 10 days of monitoring, they noticed that they were losing the other baby too. So they had to do an emergency CS. And so I was taken to the theater. And so when baby came out, they showed me the dead baby, and then the living baby who was 900 grams. That's 0.9 kilogram. So yeah, and the whole experience was a scary one. I mean, you go in there and these sounds from NICU, and you wash your hands. You want to. The first thing is to cast your eyes to see, okay, is my baby lying in the incubator before you even enter? Because sometimes you'll be there and then they'll wrap it baby and take her away. And it was such an experience.
So already walking into the room, you don't even want to get near the incubator first. You just want to see if the baby is even there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't know if we have time to continue.
Yeah. Talk to us.
So, I started reading, when I went onto the internet, to read all about preemies, and my mom wasn't in Ghana, but she kept encouraging me, Vivian, the most important thing is that she's breathing. That's it. If she's breathing, she'll survive. And so anytime I go, because I was reading, I was always checking, okay, what is this? And then I became, and the nurses didn't like that. It's like, please, leave us to do our work. I said, please, I'm also a mother. I want to know what is happening, Because all these oxygen masks and things all around, But the support system, we had women in the community. Uncle Eboha's wife, Mrs. White, kept telling me, sing to the baby, rub your hands, and then let me feel that you're there. And when I started doing that, it took the fear away. And then other mothers too, who were also equally scared, also started, imitating the same thing. And that was quite something that helped us through that process.
Yeah. Let me come to you, Dr. Kelvin. How ordinary or strange is her experience?
Well, but let me start by saying that feeling that you have is not only on the patient side. Even for us, the medics, it's same. I mean, you are closing from work and then you are leaving. You had this number of patients, the babies in there. So when you're coming back to work, you sometimes you get in there. You want to actually see are my patients still there, because anything could have happened overnight. And when you do a night duty in the NICU, it's really, 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 it can be tough. I mean, you are trying to keep these babies breathing. I mean, I must say that for the preterm babies, the most difficult thing for them is that because nothing is fully developed. Their immune system is not developed, so infection is a big challenge. That's why you have to wash your hand before you even step into the NICU. You know, because they cannot protect themselves. You know, so that's why even touching them, you have to be, you know. So it's very impersonal, unfortunately. But there's nothing we can do about that because their immune system is not available. You see, so that's the problem. Then secondly, their thermoregulation, they cannot regulate their own temperature. And so again, it's difficult because if you bring them out of the incubator, then they are exposed to the environment, and that could trigger one thing and another thing. Even their digestion is not developed properly, so you are feeding them. If you don't mix the feed properly, or you feed them a bit too much, I mean, it's a big challenge. And for us as medics, we need to take lab samples. Just drawing blood from a preterm baby could make that baby become anemic and die from complications of anemia. But you also need to take the blood samples. What do you do? You know, I mean, the preterm baby can fit in my palm. Yeah, that's how small. That's how small they are.
I've seen one, and it's honestly.
So imagine taking blood from that you know, tiny baby. You know, but some of them, you know, you can see that the heart is beating. The baby is trying to move the limbs. You know, it's quite an interesting sight. You know, watching them grow. Those that would survive. You know, and I must say that for a 900 gram, that's actually very, very, very small. And the chance of survival is very low. I'm sure from your research and all. You know, because 900 grams is very, very small. I must say, very small. You know. Most of those who survive are above 1 kilo, 1.2 kilos. You know, so for a 900 grammer, I mean, that's a survivor.
She's a fighter.
She is.
Edith, does it get any easier with time?
You know, when she was talking about her experience, I had goosebumps because I live it every day because I remember my experience. And you know, when you talk about checking the room before we enter, and in the hospital I was at, the women sat, or the mothers sat outside, and every now and then you were expressing milk, and you watched someone who'd lost a baby pack her things and go past you, and your body goes or whatever. And then when it does happen to you, you know what everybody's thinking as you are. You know, it's a horrible thing. It doesn't get easier. The fight, we still fight for preemies, and it's for me, it's a continuum of care. It's the NICU care teams, the doctors and nurses, who I think, for our part of the world, do an amazing job with what they have. I mean, those that are seriously dedicated, you would call them angels. They really push. And then it's organizations like us. Then it's the mother and the families. So it's that whole continuum that really push to get the baby where it is. But I think my sadness is that I experienced something 17 years ago, and still women are experiencing the same thing that I experienced. And despite the work that we do, and that sometimes can be, I don't know whether the word is demoralizing, but within that there's hope in this journey, and hope is one of her outcomes. That there's so many outcomes like hers, which then sort of almost like shine a light over the ones that we don't, that are less positive. And then we fight harder to make sure that we have less of the negative. I mean, we're not saying babies shouldn't die, and doctor knows that. Babies will die, even in the best, with the best resources. But we're saying that the unnecessary death of babies who are born too soon, and babies where we can't actually replicate what the environment in the womb for them outside of the womb. Not because we can't do it, but because we're not conscious enough to really try to do that. That hurts me. Doctor talks about taking blood for babies. I've been in lots of NICUs where they're taking blood, and we're using pediatric needles for neonates. It breaks my heart. It's almost like using a horse injection for a human being. And I think it has to start with our procurement system in terms of the health service and things like that. We supply things like purple cannulas and things for neonates, but you know, they're a special group. They're miracles. And if we're in a society where we value human life and then we revere death, it is amazing how little we think about the death of babies, how little and we call it little big souls because we're all big souls. The body doesn't matter. And the loss of a baby in NICU, like doctor was saying, when he's coming, he's actually worried. It's a huge feeling when a baby leaves. There's a funny atmosphere when a baby dies. And I think we need to do more. So it doesn't get easier.
It doesn't get easier.
No, and I think the experiences of mothers now are still You know, and our region still has the highest rates of deaths for premature babies.
Yes. I mean, in Ghana, we lose about 8,000 preterm babies a year.
And that's documented.
I mean, there are a lot more undocumented.
Yes.
I mean, on paper, we lose about 8,000. Yeah.
8,000?
Yes. And I'm talking about, like she said, these are the ones we actually know, have records of. How about the ones we don't?
We don't know, yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Vivian, at what point did you finally feel that you had hit the curve, the turning point, where now you're finally over the hill and your child is going to be okay?
Well, after a month in the incubator, baby was now 1 kilogram, you know, and so they said, okay, she's a bit stable. At one point, they said cardio, whatever, and we had to go to the cardio and all that. They said, oh, where is all this problem coming from? But as soon as she became stable, we went to KMC. That's the kangaroo mother care, where you go bed chest and then you put the baby there and then wrap, you know. So. We were there for another 3 weeks, and the nurses were making sure that, okay, make sure you feed that baby so that she gains weight, else you're not leaving. But, well, thankfully, by the third week, we were at 1.2, and that's when we were discharged. And that, you know, the work didn't get any easier because you know you don't sleep. You're always you're checking, is she okay, and all that. And when we had our first immunization, you know, again, infection, I mean, baby could, so we were back in the hospital on admission. But after that, that was when she turned 1.5. Then we realized, okay, she was getting better. So, yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to wrap it up. But thank you very much for coming on to talk about this today. I think it's such an important topic for us to discuss. We need to do better as a country. We need to do better in all our systems. And this is one that's very dear to my heart. I was joined on this conversation by Dr. Kelvin Owusu, who is the medical director of Optimal Care Diagnostics, and also Edith Oyobukeri. And she is the co-founder of Little Big Souls. It's a charitable organization. They've been doing this for a long time now. And then Vivian Boateng, who is a mother of a child who was born prematurely, but now is a big girl. And how old is your daughter now?
I was going to ask.
She's 8 years.
Fantastic.
Doing acrobatics.
Well, thank you very much for watching this segment, which was sponsored by the Farmers Market. Farmers Market, 100% hygienic and farm fresh. We'll be right back.
In Ghana, the law enjoins all drivers and passengers in a moving vehicle to wear a seatbelt. No excuse is good enough for not wearing a seatbelt. Seatbelts that are fitted in vehicles are adjustable, so please adjust it to suit you. Let it rest as close as possible to the body. As a driver, before you drive off, ensure everyone else, especially children in the vehicle, have fastened their seatbelts. The airbag is not an alternative to a seatbelt, because in the event of a crash, only the fastened seatbelt will stop a passenger from being thrown far forward. So buckle up. Stop road crashes now. Stay alive.
This road safety education is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority.
Welcome back again, and this time we're going to have a conversation about road safety. Now, the National Road Safety Authority is out on a massive campaign to make sure that we reduce lives lost on our roads, basically. And as we're heading into the election period, it's much more important because people are going to be whizzing across the country, in an earnest effort to make sure the campaign messages go down and all of that, and all kinds of things that will be happening. We've been joined by Victor Kojo Bilse, who is the Senior Planning Manager with the National Road Safety Authority. We'll get into this conversation. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thanks.
Yeah, so let's talk about elections and road safety. Now, looking at the way, I see convoys, speeding around the country, different places in the country. Sometimes the roads are terrible, and yet somehow the convoys don't seem to slow down when the roads are even bad, So this whole mindset, what are some of the bad practices that you see, negative practices that you see generally as we're getting into this election period that are happening on our roads?
Well, thank you. Good morning again, and good morning to the cherished viewers. Like you rightly said, we notice a lot of convoy driving during these seasons. These are mainly because our political heads, and be it those in power and those not in power, tend to embark on these campaigns, and they carry along huge numbers everywhere they go. And the number one killer on our road happens to be the issue of speed. And the human being is also a factor. Let me take you back some few months when there was this total lockdown. Movements were limited. And we recorded drastic reductions when it comes to road traffic crashes and its related fatalities and injuries. So we know the more people move, the higher figures we record. And the faster they go, the higher the figures, be it fatalities, serious injuries, and minor injuries as well. So these actions of convoys, and we know there are special ways of driving in a convoy. The faster you go, the longer your braking distance. But we see a lot of vehicles following each other very close, yet driving at very high speeds. If there's an anomaly, every other vehicle following gets involved in that particular crash because safety nets have been broken. And we see people, about 4 or 5, riding on one motorcycle. I don't know if you've seen it before, but I have.
I've seen it.
They throw caution to the wind. You see none of them wearing crash helmets. And people will ask, so what is the police doing? The police cannot chase every biker out there. What are we doing for ourselves? We see a small vehicle, maybe a saloon car, which is supposed to pick just 5 people. You'd be surprised to count as many as 15 in that vehicle. So if we are doing all this, and a single crash is taking about 12 lives, then what are we telling ourselves? What are we doing for ourselves? Are our souls going to vote, or the human beings themselves are going to vote? These actions and inactions, we notice a lot of people driving tired, driving for long hours, refusing to rest. Meanwhile, it is mandatory in the law, LI 2180, that you would, when you drive for more than, for up to 4 hours, it is mandatory that you rest for 30 minutes. We throw caution to the wind there as well. People taking coffee, other enhancement drugs, thinking we can cheat nature, but it does not happen that way. If we keep on doing these things, then we should not expect the figures to go down. We should see higher numbers. That is why over the years, election periods record higher numbers when it comes to road traffic crashes. Because one, movement is high, volumes are also high. People bus their supporters because they want to feel the crowd with them wherever they go. But in the end, what are we doing when it comes to road safety?
Now, you said something about the police not being able to catch every, recalcitrant driver. But a question I have in my mind is also that when people are caught for doing the wrong thing on the road, are the punitive measures sufficient? Is it deterrent enough? I mean, of course, I'm sure the police are the ones who can answer that best. But as an authority, what are you advocating for?
Okay, what we want to do, or what we are trying to put out there, is when we say enforcement, the normal person out there will look at it from the top bottom. but enforcement is two-way.
Okay.
Why can't we look at it from the bottom-up approach?
How is that?
Where each and every individual would take responsibility and enforce the law on my own. If I know I'm supposed to rest after 4 hours, why don't I enforce it personally? If I know I'm not supposed to be intoxicated whilst I'm driving, then why don't I enforce that? If I know I'm not supposed to overtake in a curve or on a hill, why don't I enforce that?
Okay.
If I do that, I will not expect the one in uniform to come and tell me what to do, because I'm applying the bottom-up approach to enforce it.
But isn't that a bit utopian, considering the fact that in every country, I mean, the best of places where we consider that people are law-abiding, you notice that people will sit at home and you get a ticket of a fine in your mail, because a camera caught you speeding, a camera caught you doing the wrong thing. I think to leave it to the citizenry to say enforce it yourself, I think it's almost like living in a Garden of Eden kind of environment.
We are not leaving it to the citizenry.
Okay.
We are trying to play with your conscience, let you understand.
Okay.
Safety, we say, is a shared and collective responsibility. Your action or inaction can cause the lives of either one person or two or many. We've had crashes where, because a driver was fatigued or wrongfully overtaken, causing the lives of maybe 30, 45 people. It was the action or inaction of just one person. So if that person was really law-abiding and was able to enforce the law from his point of view, then we wouldn't have to make the front pages for the wrong reasons, seeing 25 people, blood everywhere. We don't need that. We need the police to enforce the law from their point. But we also need ourselves, each and every one of us, to share and collectively enforce the law from our personal and individual points of view as well.
Okay. What engagement, if any, are you having with the political parties to also let them work on their teams? You know.
Yes. Statistics have shown from 1990 till date that during election years, the statistics go up. So for the past 3 electioneering years, we've engaged the heads of political parties, both at the national level and the regional levels as well. Today, it's happening at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And we are meeting them at the national level. From there, other regions have started meeting them at the regional level as well. So we are going to meet all the heads and let them appreciate first the road safety situation. And after that, we've developed a safety code for all political parties. When we talk of what the driver should be doing, the need for them to have a safety champion on board. So when they go, it's not just about what you are coming to promise us again or what you think you have done that you want to remedy, but you also tell us that, okay, we need you to vote, but we need you alive. We don't need you maimed. You are here safe, you have to get back safe. That is why we have this Arrive Alive campaign running alongside everything we are doing now. So we want them to understand the need for them to plan their trips. Because if you don't plan your trip, you may end up in a gridlock. And in your haste to get to your next destination, the issue of overspeeding comes in. So we want them to first understand the road safety situation, like I said. Then we give them the code of conduct for political parties. Let them buy into it. Because the people listen to them. They have the voice. And if they are able to speak the language that the National Road Safety Authority is speaking, then we believe the message can get far.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Victor Kojo-Bilson. He is the Senior Planning Manager with the National Road Safety Authority. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now it's a Tuesday, so your favorite entertainment journalists are in the house.
Yes.
After Kwame and Kwame. What's up, guys?
We're good.
How you doing?
We're fine.
Yeah,
You're good.
We're good.
Okay, another person is good too. Popping champagnes everywhere.
Who's that?
Oh, then us all know that he's in Hollywood now. Oh. It's a big deal.
He's
in
not in Hollywood.
Netflix.
He's there.
It's Hollywood, no?
But he's in the neighborhood. He's here now.
He's gone.
He's gone far.
Yeah.
I mean, this year alone, we've had Stonebwoy, Kerry Hilson, we have Beyonce, Sharawale.
Yes.
Shadayonce, whatever you want to call it. Now we have Bisakede in Hollywood.
Bissawood.
How big of a deal is this?
It is a big of a deal. Let's just bring our audience back to speed. So Bisakede song, the Asil song, had a remix featured on a Netflix movie that was made for the holiday season called Jingle Jungle. And that's what we're all talking about it. And I mean, it was really, somebody would say it took Ghanaians by surprise, because it's been a long time since we've been looking forward to something like this, like a Ghanaian song used for a score in the movie. And then it was really good. It's actually put Ghana on the map again, and we are really excited about it. I am, for once, I have my own reservations. I think when we look at the video,
and even the dance the kids did, I think it was cute. Should we take a look at the video?
Are we?
Okay, no
copyright. So. But I had an interview with Bisa to tell us how this whole thing came about.
Okay.
You know, because of copyright.
Let's take a look at the interview. Do we have the interview?
The interview is right there.
We had an email from the Jingle Jungle production team that they wanted to use our song for the movie, and I was excited about it, you know. And we had to set up a call to talk about it. I had a couple of emails as well from all over, and we had to talk about it. So we had a talk, and then I spoke with the producer, and they were like they like my sound. They like I like sound, I do. And the director's wife is also a very huge fan of this kid, and they've been listening to me for a long time. So yeah, they want the song, my song Aso, and I've already said too that Aso is my biggest song, even though it's not that popular here in Ghana. It's my biggest song so far, because you know it's been going places. It's been played on a lot of platforms, you know, and the high as well. So yeah, they mentioned a lot of things about my songs, and which I really appreciate. So the initial plan was to use the main song, the Aso song, and then they said they would love if I change the lyrics and make it a soundtrack for the movie. So I said yes, why not? So
wow.
So that was Bisa, yeah.
Bisakede going international. Yeah. You know, recently he was in the news saying that the media was trying to sabotage him. Yes. And now look at him.
So but can the media take credit for this, though?
I asked him how he felt about the media's reaction to this particular feature. He was like, oh, he's happy seeing almost every blog reporting about it. I'm saying, you see.
You've forgotten that,
you see the same people you were complaining about.
Exactly.
What are your reservations?
Well, I must commend Bisa's team for actually doing this kind of connection or link up with the producers of the movie. I must say that it's really hard. It doesn't come easy. Even though there are platforms where you can upload your music on to see if it gets picked, or so that then a discussion follows.
Sure.
But for them to have that link, and like he said, he has been working on this for almost a year.
And he was silent about it.
Yes. I mean, these things come with like
the
NDAs and stuff like that. But what does it mean? How can other Ghanaian artists take advantage of this? Also put their music out there. That's the thing. The streams puts a lot of effort in your promotion of your music. It's very important, because that's the only way the outside audience can also.
And he heard me say the Asil song is his biggest song.
Exactly.
Not big in Ghana, but outside.
Exactly.
You know, so the reception outside is great.
It's great because they are promoting it out there a lot more than in here. And I think a lot of upcoming artists, if I should put it, should also take advantage and also push their music out there, because some of these platforms, you might not know, you might just take you next level.
You see Bisakede for some time now, you know, his whole brand and image seems to be on the low, if you like, you know, and this is something that is coming to project him again. I have always said that Bisa is talented.
Yeah.
But after the Mansa and then the Brother, it appears that all the things, all the songs that he released, they didn't really catch fire like the previous ones. Now, here he is getting all the attention
But
again.
should we wait for some Western validation before we acknowledge? Because this is the song they did, the remix to how many Ghanaians danced to it?
So it's
the song he did.
It's a really good song. Until it got featured on Netflix, I hadn't really heard the song.
Get the point.
But the thing is that I think, like Kwamda's is saying, Bisa has talent, and I think he's carved a particular niche for himself.
Yeah.
Bisa came out with Azonto Ghost, which was a soundtrack for a movie
Speaking
as well.
of Azonto Ghost, it's time to check out Top 10 City Countdown. Where do we
There's no ghost in the countdown.
There are no ghosts. Check out the City Countdown every Friday with Jessica at 97.3 Citi FM and with Olele on Citi TV Saturdays 4 p.m. And anytime I and Kwamdazi are here, we'll bring you the hottest songs that made it to the countdown in GH.
Thank you guys so much. So we'll take a look at the songs that made it to the Top 10 City Countdown.
This is the City Countdown. The City Countdown. This is the City Countdown. Number 10. Number 9.
Send me a location, I go come. I'm going to the moon, and if I come back, send me a location, I go come.
Number 8. Number 7. Number 6. Number 5. Number 4.
When I stay everywhere like it be winter, Joe hustler for chop king, but me di mommy. La hustle, yes I la. What I was she got,
Number 3.
Who you taking home tonight? I did feel you when I know for life. Who you taking home tonight?
Number 2.
Why the party there today? Hey mama, hey I ever say. Shake your body, man, you're gonna.
Happy days. Yeah. So earlier on, Chuku the painter was doing his 73 seconds painting, and then also we had this talented musician. Yeah. And he's been doing wonderful things, playing some pretty good stuff. We're going to show you a video from
DJ.
We're going to show you his video in just a little bit. But they're both here. Come on, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How you all doing?
We're doing good.
Okay, so DJ, tell us what project are you working on right now?
I think I'm working on a song, and we are planning of the promotion and all that. And it's dropping.
What song is that?
Wamba, dropping on Friday. Yeah.
What's the inspiration behind Wamba?
So Wamba was a whole vibe in the studio. The vibe in the studio made me do what I did. You understand? Because I remember when I was recording, my manager was around, Dance God Lloyd was there, Afrobeast, my brother, my producer. So they were giving me some kind of energy. So I took advantage of it, and then I used the beat as I should, you understand? Yeah, so the vibe in the studio made me do one, but I didn't write it.
Wow, I see.
We'll take a look at that shortly.
Yeah. Where can people follow your music? Where can they stream your music?
It's everywhere. Everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, all digital platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we search for when we go onto these platforms?
What do I?
Your EP, what do we search for?
Only DJ or
okay.
DJ AY.
They will find all your music there.
DJ AY.
All right. Chuku. What have you been up to?
He's also got a single out. This is incredible.
It's really talented.
This is incredible.
How did you perfect the whole thing with the time and everything?
I think it's God and then continuous practice. You know?
Okay.
So I set a timer at home. So I have my brother, he goes on the countdown whilst I practice in the studio. And then I come and deliver live as you saw.
It's crazy.
So wait, you look, people sit down and they work on the painting normally. You do it upside down. And then you flip it to show us that you've done it.
Yeah. So
how does that
do
work?
To keep people in suspense and also to let you enjoy the moment and appreciate the skill much more better. Because I can do it in the studio and deliver it, but I feel when it's done upside down before your eyes, it creates a new different vibe.
It does.
And then you appreciate it more.
It does.
Wow.
It does. What are your social media handles?
Chuku the Painter on every social media platform.
Chuku the Painter.
Yeah. And you should watch out for my exhibition.
When is it?
God really next year.
Okay.
Next year.
Yeah, a lot of people have been anticipating for it. Like Chuku and I doing your own solo exhibition. I was like, God really next year. If it wasn't Corona, I would have been.
And you did really well in March because we saw your collaboration that we did. It was amazing.
A lot of people spoke about it. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And I'm looking forward to doing more with Citi. And Citi TV has been like really supportive. Like, anytime, any day, like they always put me out, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
But this is fantastic work. It's fantastic work.
Thank you.
So DJ, we'll be hoping to listen to your
just a little glimpse.
Upcoming, you're dropping it on Friday, right? The video on Friday?
Yeah.
Right.
But you brought a little glimpse for us to check out, so we'll take a look. And then on Friday, share your YouTube page with us that we'll go and watch the full thing.
My YouTube page is DJ D then space JAY.
Thank you so much, DJ and Chuku, for being with us.
Thank you too.
Thank you at home for staying for this edition of Breakfast Daily. If you miss any segment of the show, you know what to do. Go onto our YouTube page, CityTube. Comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure having you with us. Keep watching Citi TV. My name is David Kwekusi.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. Enjoy your day. We'll see you at 7:30 tomorrow. Bye.